In the brutal world of Hong Kong's triads, loyalty is everything. When a mission goes wrong, a young member is framed and cast out by the brotherhood he once served. But after his mentor is murdered, he returns, not just to pay his last respects, but to seek revenge and reclaim his place in the underworld. If you're feeling the brotherhood and chaos, hit subscribe. More young and dangerous stories coming soon. The movie opens with a group of teenage boys playing soccer in a neighborhood after school. Among them is Chan Ho Nam, a spirited and stubborn kid. During the game, Ho Nam accidentally kicks the ball just as a group of older boys are passing by, nearly hitting them. One of the older boys is Ugly Quan, a leader in one of the triads of the Hung Hing Society. Quan takes offense and calls the boys over, scolding them. Although Ho Nam apologizes, Quan refuses to let them off easily. He uses the moment to intimidate them, trying to recruit them into his society for local assignments. But Ho Nam, despite his age, firmly refuses. Enraged, Quan splashes his drink on Ho Nam and smashes the bottle over his head. A fight breaks out. Ho Nam and his friends try to defend themselves, but Quan's men beat them up mercilessly, until another triad leader, B, steps in. B, also from the Hung Hing Society, breaks up the fight and tells the boys to go home and focus on their studies. Impressed by B's politeness and maturity, Ho Nam tells him they'd rather join the society under him. That moment marks the beginning of their journey into the criminal underworld, under B's guidance. 10 years later, the boys are no longer street kids. They've grown into hardened young men with real weight in the Hong Kong underworld. Ho Nam has become a key figure alongside his closest allies, Dai Tin Yi, Chicken, Bao Pei, and Bao Pei's younger brother, Chao Pan. Now full-fledged members of the Hung Hing Triad Society, they're operating under B's command, and they're about to carry out their first big hit. They plan to hit on Quan's right-hand man, Ba Bai, at his usual massage parlor. Ho Nam has already arrived at the massage parlor. He spots Ba Bai bullying the workers, completely unaware of what's about to happen to him. Everything is set and everyone's in position, except for one hiccup. Chicken, who's in charge of bringing the weapons, is stuck in an elevator. To make matters worse, he's trapped with a Christian pastor who seizes the moment to preach to him about leaving behind his gangster life and turning to Christ. Desperate to reach him, the priest shares that he once lived a rough life too and insists there's no real gain in it. Annoyed, Chicken tells him that if God really wants him to change, he should start by fixing the elevator. Surprisingly, just as he says that, the elevator starts working again. Chicken, stunned, tells the priest to thank Jesus on his behalf and rushes out. Meanwhile, at the massage parlor, Bao creates a diversion and Ba Bai sends his men to check it out, giving Ho Nam, already in the dressing room, the chance he needs to strike. While Ho Nam engages Ba Bai in a fight, the others attack Bai Bai's men. Ba Bai manages to escape, but he doesn't get far. On the street, Chicken arrives just in time and stabs him in the belly. When Quan learns of Ba Bai's death, he's furious, not just because the man is dead, but because he still owes him money. Later, Ho Nam and his friends celebrate the success of their first mission. They head to a lounge, drink, laugh, and sing karaoke, basking in their victory. While the boys are having fun inside the lounge, a woman steals Ho Nam's car. The next morning, Ho Nam and the others confront a known car thief in the neighborhood, convinced he either stole the car or knows who did it. He denies any involvement, but the group doesn't buy it. They rough him up, hoping to force a confession, but it turns out he had nothing to do with it. Later, they catch a lead that the car was stolen by a woman named Smarty. Ho Nam and his gang head to a bar to track her down. While there, Ho Nam overhears her on the phone, negotiating a ransom for a stolen car, unaware she's talking about his. When his friends call out her name, Smarty panics and grabs Ho Nam and pretends he's her boss to protect herself, not realizing he's actually with them. Ho Nam plays along. Impressed by how calm and cooperative he is, Smarty invites him to join her in delivering the car. They drive off together to meet the owner, which turns out to be Chicken and the rest of the gang. Still keeping up the act, Ho Nam plays along as Smarty continues to call him her boss, trying to intimidate them. As they start negotiating, the guys begin mocking her stutter and teasing her. After a while, they finally reveal who they really are. To teach her a lesson, they tie Smarty to the hood of the stolen car and drive her to a lonely area. There, they force her to eat a huge stack of pork buns. With no way out, she gives in and starts eating. Just as she's about to finish, they leave her behind and drive off. The next day, Smarty's boss meets with B. He complains about his boys' behavior and accuses them of being disrespectful. B calmly explains that stealing another gangster's car is a serious offense. After a bit of tense back and forth, B offers a beer as a peace gesture. The boss accepts, signaling a truce. Later, Quan invites Ho Nam to his office, located inside his adult film studio. He tries to persuade Ho Nam to join his side, and even offers him a huge sum of money to join them in producing adult films. But out of loyalty to B, Ho Nam turns him down without hesitation. Quan mocks him for being so loyal, but Ho Nam doesn't care. As Ho Nam is leaving, he spots Quan's men trying to force Smarty into featuring in a pornographic film to repay her debts. To protect her, Ho Nam steps in and claims to be her boyfriend, stopping the men from dragging her in. Outside, Smarty tells him that she already told them he's her boyfriend, so now he'll have to play the part. Meanwhile, Chicken and the others are relaxing at a restaurant. The pastor from the elevator is there preaching to him. Chicken is even more irritated at this point. Suddenly, Chicken's girlfriend shows up with her father, a powerful leader of another criminal society. At the sight of him, Chicken freezes. His confidence completely vanishes. The father drills Chicken and bluntly warns him to use double protection when sleeping with his daughter. The pastor cuts in and tells him not to encourage fornication, but Chicken shoves him aside. Before leaving, he warns Chicken to treat his daughter right, or face his wrath. A few days later, the Hung Hing chairman, Mr. Chang, calls for a meeting with B and his crew. Impressed by Ho Nam's recent achievements, Mr. Chang gives them a critical mission to eliminate a greedy man named Crazy Bill, who's demanding a 30% cut from their casino operations in Macau. If they succeed, Mr. Chang promises to back their rise in the society. Ho Nam and his crew, including Chicken's girlfriend, head to Macau. Upon arrival, Chicken is quickly distracted and wants to hit the casino floor, since the mission doesn't start until the next day. Outside, a popular prostitute flirts with him. Chicken follows her and ends up ditching his girlfriend to frolic with 3 women. Meanwhile, his girlfriend searching for him is kidnapped. Back with the crew, they link up with their Macau contact, a man named Kang. The next morning, Kang shows up with the vehicle and weapons for the mission, along with a tip on Crazy Bill's location. The group sets off, without Chicken. But on their way, a truck suddenly rams into them from behind, and another one hits them from the front, trapping their bus. Armed men jump down from the trucks and attack them. The crew tries to take weapons and fight back, only to discover their weapons are fake. In the chaos, Chow is badly injured. Ho Nam tries to save him, but it's too late. Chow urges them to leave him and save themselves. Devastated, the others flee. Kang suddenly appears and helps Ho Nam get away, while Tien and Bao manage to contact B and report the ambush. Bao is crushed by his brother's death. It turns out that Quan was behind everything: the provision of the bus, the fake intel, the fake weapons, and even the kidnapping of Chicken's girlfriend. It was all part of a larger plan to sabotage Ho Nam. Quan instructs Kong to drug both Ho Nam and Chicken's girlfriend, and they manipulate them into having Hunga Bunga while recording everything as blackmail material meant to ruin Ho Nam's reputation and get him expelled from the society. When they wake up in the street, both are disoriented and haunted by flashes of what happened. Humiliated and furious, Ho Nam warns the girl to stay quiet when she asks about Chicken. She silently follows as he sets off to find the others. Elsewhere, Chicken is buying cigarettes when he sees a news report about the gang fight. Alarmed, he rushes to track down his crew, fearing the worst. Eventually, Ho Nam reunites with Pooh and Dai. While they mourn Chow's death, Chicken shows up. Pooh lashes out at him for disappearing when they needed him most. Then, Chicken's girlfriend confesses what happened between her and Ho Nam, though she mentions they were drugged. Enraged, Chicken confronts Ho Nam. Despite Ho Nam's explanation that it was all a setup, Chicken doesn't believe him. Betrayed and heartbroken, he walks away. Back in Hong Kong, tensions run high. After the disastrous mission in Macau, B advises Ho Nam and the crew to lie low for a while. Chicken still hasn't made contact, so Ho Nam sends Dai to find him. Eventually, Dai tracks down Chicken. They meet, and Chicken reveals he's planning to head to Taiwan to start fresh. Dai hands him a Rolex from Ho Nam, a gesture of goodwill and something he can sell if he ever runs into money trouble. Dai explains that everything was a setup, and despite what happened, Ho Nam still considers him a brother. Meanwhile, Ho Nam is slowly recovering from his injuries, with Smarty and his loyal friends at his side. Things have quieted down, and they're all taking life one day at a time. Days later, a major meeting is held at the Hung Hing headquarters. Ho Nam and his crew are present. During the gathering, B brings up the ambush in Macau, hoping the leadership will investigate and punish those responsible. But Quan interrupts, arrogantly hijacking the conversation. He discredits B and his men, and claims he has already handled the situation. Then, boasting about his past contributions to the society, he proposes a leadership election. He argues that Mr. Chang's 3-year term is over. The district bosses agree, and with a show of hands, they vote for Quan, all except B. Mr. Chang doesn't put up a fight. He quietly steps down, handing over his position to Quan. As his first act as chairman, Quan singles out Ho Nam. He accuses him of violating the Triad code by sleeping with another member's woman, and declares him banished from Hung Hing society. In keeping with the society's tradition, B is forced to carry out the punishment of pressing a bundle of burning incense against Ho Nam's body. 10 months later, B visits Ho Nam at his small local cafe. He tries to bring him back into the fold, but Ho Nam declines. Quan's in charge now, and he doesn't want to put B in danger by getting involved again. Still, their reunion is warm. Smarty, the crew, and even the pastor gather around a table, sharing food, laughter, and a rare moment of peace. For now, Ho Nam seems content, living a quiet life with Smarty, far from the chaos and violence of the criminal underworld. One night, Kang shows up to pick up B, claiming that Quan wants to speak with him. They drive to a remote, secluded location, but when they arrive, B realizes it's a trap. Quan has kidnapped his entire family. Quan accuses B of sabotaging his operations and taking out his right-hand man, who owes him a lot of money. B begs him to spare his family, insisting they settle their score between just the two of them. But Quan shows no mercy. Known for his brutality, he drugs B, and he and his men assault him violently. In a final act of cruelty, they bury B and his family alive in a shabby grave. At B's funeral, Ho Nam, his friends, and the pastor arrive to pay their last respects. But guards stop them at the entrance, reminding Ho Nam that he's no longer a member of Hung Hing. Ho Nam pleads with them, insisting that B was like a father to him and he must pay his last respect. They eventually agree, but only under one condition. Ho Nam must kneel to the altar while enduring beatings from the society members. Ho Nam pushes through the pain and finally reaches the altar, honoring B one last time. Tensions rise when Quan arrives. He tries to approach the altar, but someone stops him. As a suspect in B's murder, he has no right to light an incense for him. Hearing this, Ho Nam snaps and lunges at him. Others step in to break up the fight. As Quan arrogantly turns to leave, the pastor unexpectedly launches a dropkick on his back and scolds him for killing B. Quan storms out, furious and humiliated. Later, he retaliates by ordering his men to blow up Ho Nam's cafe. With each move, Quan grows more arrogant and reckless. Determined to strike back, Ho Nam reaches out to one of B's old allies for help, but the man backs out, too afraid of attracting police attention. Just when things seem hopeless, several cars pull up, and out steps Chicken. Clean-cut in a sharp suit, surrounded by loyal boys. Without saying a word, Chicken tosses the Rolex Ho Nam gave him straight back. The gesture breaks the tension, and they embrace tightly, their bond restored. The next day, the crew visits B and his family's grave. Chicken shares how he rose through the ranks of a Taiwanese gang and became a leader in his own right. Ho Nam confesses he wants revenge for B's death. Chicken doesn't hesitate. He agrees. No matter what gang they belong to, he says, Ho Nam will always be his brother. That night, Quan attends his mother's birthday party. He parks recklessly and when a police officer tells him to move the car, Quan intimidates him and walks away like he's above the law. Inside, his mother proves just as loud and arrogant as her son. But while Quan and his men celebrate, Ho Nam and Chicken strike. They launch coordinated attacks on all of Quan's businesses. At the same time, they tip off the police about Quan's adult film operation and drug deals. Meanwhile, Bao, disguised as a woman, sneaks into the party and ambushes Quan's mother in the restroom, giving her a brutal beating. She screams for help just as Bao escapes the party. Quan and his men run after him. Along the way, some of his men run into Chicken, who doesn't hesitate to shoot several of them down. Meanwhile, Quan stumbles straight into an ambush. Ho Nam and his crew corner him as Dai dumps gasoline on him from above. Trapped and outnumbered, Quan drops his arrogance and pleads for mercy. Ho Nam confronts him not just for killing B, but for killing his innocent family too. Ho Nam throws a drink in Quan's face and smashes the bottle over his head, just like he did to him years ago. Before Quan can make another move, Bao lunges at him and starts beating him. But Quan pulls a gun and grabs Pooh, using him as a shield while trying to escape into the street. Dai runs to the nearby officer and reports that someone's armed. As Quan shoves Pooh aside and points the gun at him, the officer arrives just in time and shoots Quan on the spot. In the aftermath, Mr. Chang reclaims his position as chairman of the Hung Hing Society. Ho Nam is officially reinstated, now a leader of the Triad, fully respected and recognized across the criminal underworld. If you're still loyal after all the betrayals, beatdowns, and bad haircuts, then you're Hung Hing material. Hit subscribe before Ugly Quan finds out you're watching other channels.